Father Yah. And then you're going to choose between Him, the one who provides these things, between your inheritance that He gave it to you. What will you choose? The irony is, He chose His sons before the Elohim. And we know the story. Because of that things, Father Yah talked to him in his dream. He said, all of your sons will be killed in one day. Because you honor them more than me. Now, can you imagine Father Yah talking to you in your dream? And telling you that all your children will die in one day. So was you. Because Eli died on the same day. And the word says, no more old people will come from your loin. Imagine that burden that you put into your household because you honor your children more than the one who gave you the children. And sometimes we are seeing it right now in our face. Sometimes here or sometimes we see it in the world. We sometimes honor more our loved ones, our wife, our children, more than we honor Father Yah. That's why when your children say, Pops, I cannot go, I cannot come with you during the Sabbath. I'm going somewhere with my friends. And since you love your friends so much, you don't want to say, hey, no, come with me. Let's go to the sanctuary. Now imagine if that son of yours who get out that day died. What will you say? And you will think, Father is going to understand. No, he will not understand because he gave us the law point blank. There's no if, there's no but. And I'm seeing this happening in our midst. I just text our pastor in the Philippines the other day. I said, tolerate no one with the loss of Father Yah. What you say to one, you say to all. I don't care who is going to transgress. That's what I told our pastor in the Philippines. And that's what we should do. Sometimes we love our children so much that we even want to bend the law of Father Yah just to fit it with them. No, you cannot. Because at the end of the day, you will be liable for what you did. As a parent, the buck stops on you. So this happens to Eli. And I'm hoping none of this will happen for us. We know we love our children. And I'm so thankful and joyful that our 3 children is with Father Yah. I have the feeling with you that if your children is not with Father Yah, I know you grieve for them so much and you prayed too long for them already. But if come time for you to pick and choose between them and Father Yah, I'm praying and hoping you know where to choose. Otherwise, your faith will be in vain, my brothers and sisters, because remember the word, I did not come here to give you peace. Our Savior said, I come between the Father and the Son. Between the mother and the daughter. That's why it is written too that if you love them, your wife, your husband, your children, your parents, your relatives, and all that you have here on this earth, more than me, you're not worthy of me. Your waiting will be in vain. And 1 Samuel chapter 8. Now, that was Eli, isn't it? Now, let's go to Samuel. Samuel, we know Samuel. He was the last judge. But the thing is, look at what Samuel did with his sons too. In 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 1, and it came to pass when Samuel was old, what happens? He made his sons what? Judges, rulers over Israel. Now, how on earth you, dad, knows your son fully well, not doing any good, and yet you put them rulers and over Israel? What's good is that? Because you love your sons. Again, your flesh comes first before the will of Father Yahweh. You put chaos in your household. Because in verse 2 it says, up to verse 3, now the name of his firstborn was Yoel, and the name of second Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. Now here's verse 3. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, took bribes, and perverted judgment. And I know Samuel knows it. Because father should know well his children, one way or the other. Don't blame your children. Don't be so innocent that, oh, I don't know that. No, one way or the other. You have the feeling of father feeling God. That they know, that you know what they're doing, one way or the other. Because I have the feeling too as a father. And the irony is, he put them as judges. And that's the reason why all the elders of Israel in verse 4 said, gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now, I'm hoping and praying that we parents will do the best thing for our children, irregardless of what they feel or what we feel at the end of the day. Because in Proverbs chapter 15 verse 20, again, it is for these children. Proverbs 15:20, a wise son maketh a glad father. A wise son, meaning knows what is good and evil and choose what is good. But a foolish man despises his mother, as if you were not born. I wish you were not born. Now let's go to 2 Samuel. We're done with Samuel, we're done with Eli. Now who's next? The wind. Now here's the story of the wind. Now again, if the husband and wife is not in one accord, you bring chaos into your house. Now the story is about David. Remember when David brought the ark to Jerusalem? And he danced with all his might. And 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 14. Second Samuel chapter 6 verse 14, it said, and David danced before the Elohim with all his might. And David was girded with a linen ephod. Now David is a king already here. But when he danced just like a regular common man. That he forgot that he is the king, which is good to the eyes of Father Yah. You don't put yourself high in front of the master. That's why David was counted wise, good, servant in this verse. But the irony is, again, one of his wife, because David has 8 wives, Brother Ken. One of his wife, the first one, the daughter of Saul, Michal. Now, here's the problem. When the wife Michal saw her husband dancing, giving praise to Father Yah, what she should do back then is she should take out her royaltiness, go down to the street, and dance with all her might with the husband. But she did not. And this is the irony, my dear brothers. When you marry somebody that is not with faith and the same as you, and sometimes you go to the tabernacles. And since your wife is not with you, what will you do? You just by yourself. And I pity those husbands with themselves. Honestly, as a brother, I wish you have your wife with you. Because in this case, instead of Michael being joyful too, like David, she mocked David. Can you imagine that? And because of what she did, she got the curse. She never bore a child. Now, Michal brought damnation to her household. And you cannot blame David for that. Because Michal knows who is David in the first place. She knows his faith. And yet, she decided to go against her husband. Going against your husband in one thing is good sometimes. I said sometimes. But not against Father Yah. Baby, you are kicking the prick. And you know you will never win. So that was David with one of his wives, Michal. I don't know. These people never learn how. I don't know why they have so many wives. Brother Jeremy. Now, here comes David as a father. Now, since David has 8 wives and 18 children, do you think David shows as a good father? No, you cannot find anywhere here. That's one of his mistakes. Because the setting we're about to see here is the anger of a son towards his father. In 2 Samuel chapter 15, verse 13. Now, the son here is Absalom, the most debonair of his sons. And there came a messenger to David saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. Now, Absalom is creating chaos in David's kingdom. He is making a coup d'etat against his own father, the king. Absalom is trying to steal the kingship from his dad. You know why? Because the anger of Absalom. You know what happened? Because Tamar, his own sister, was raped by his half-brother Amnon. And David knew it, and he did not do a thing. David did not give justice for his